and just nod when you roll. Okay, well, Parker, I'm not asking for a bag. Parker, and I've already forgot Oscar and Pepper. I don't know. It's. I'm working 95-hour work weeks, like every day in the world, so I'm a little bit punchy. All right. Well, this is their roadmap to success. So for him, every time he does this, pet him and say, come up with a word for it: grovel or beg or dance or whatever you want to call it. So every time because he does this, he's really doing this as a manding. He's doing this because this has gotten him treats. His previous guardians have probably taught him how to do that. Sit. That's remember, anytime you give a treat, the treat should go in the mouth first. They should hear the command word immediately afterwards. And also be careful how you say it. There's a difference in saying sit and sit. And I'm not going to beg because I didn't ask for that. Now I would for passive training, but we have to talk about a whole bunch of stuff here, buddy. Okay, it's funny because when I came in, he wanted to kill me, and now we're, yes, we're going to shake. There we go. I'll give you one. Okay, so all right. So we talked about exercise. I think the dogs Oscar is a kind of an older dog, doesn't need. These two are 6 years old, so they need more exercise. So I went through some creative forms of exercise. I'm just going to highlight the activities. If you have any questions about these, message me. I have videos I can send to you. But again, for these guys, anything that you want to do exercise-wise, I want you to check with your vet to make sure that they're okay with it. These guys sometimes have back issues. We want to make sure that's not the case. Okay, so the first one that I do is I call it doggy stairmaster. I throw the treats up and down the stairs. So you throw it down the stairs, they go down and lick it up. I say the word Cuba or Mexico or whatever word it is, and we call it back up and give it another word treat and call it Canada or North Pole or something like that. Count each down up as one, and then keep on doing it with the dog with an empty stomach. Their stomach can actually twist and it can be problematic. So they shouldn't exercise until about 60 to 90 minutes after eating. So basically, you throw it up and down the stairs, and that's one. Throw it down and then have them call back up, and do it with the other two dogs away. And so it's really just for these two dogs. Here, I'll give you one just because you're the old dog. And so basically you keep doing it the first time with an empty stomach until they just say, I'm not doing that anymore. And you know what the maximum number is. You want to exercise about 50 to 75% of the maximum number 3 to 5 times a day, typically between every 2 and 4 hours as a kind of interval. And so play around with those elements until you know kind of what each dog's maximum is, and then you can set them up for success. You have some friends coming over. Before they come over, you exercise him, and then make sure he has 10 minutes to recover before they knock on the door. But I think that if we can get other things we can do is laser. He seemed to like the laser. If they get manic about the laser, don't use it. I definitely can't pay you for that. Also playing fetch down the hallway if that doesn't want to go up the stairs, or just throwing the treats at the end of the hallway and saying this, coming up with another word that means go down there. Other thing you can do is scent games. You can Google scent games, and there's a lot of different options for that. So we want to get them into a routine, so they're getting little 5 or 7 minute, probably more closer to 3 to 5 minute exercise bursts, 3 to 6 times a day for the 2 6-year-olds. And taking for walks are great. You guys do that, but a walk is not the most efficient form of exercise. Maybe do that with him because that's nice, and it is very stimulating for them to do that. All right, you guys are all close together now. When I run my camera, it'd be a perfect Instagram picture right here. So we also talked about, I'm going to get a little bit out of sort, but I'm going to talk about maintenance. We're in a split level house. The dogs are looking down, and he especially is barking at people that come by. So every time that happens, that reinforces, because he thinks that he is barking, cause them to leave, not realizing they're just leaving anyways. So if we cover the bottom part of the window with white paper, you can also go to Lowe's or Home Depot. Sometimes they have like a frosting adhesive you can put on there. But the idea is we want to be able to let the light in, but the dogs can't see out. And so that way they give up that barking behavior. We want to kind of look at all the different aspects of why he acts out and start eliminating the temptation or the triggers. So, all right. Again, exercising him before guests come over can go a long ways towards doing it. I'm going to stay on him for a minute. One of the things I might want to have you do is when you have guests come over, exercise him first, and then actually put him on a leash, take him outside. So have your guests text you when they get here, go outside and go for a little bit of a mini walk. Once he was away from the other two, he settled himself down a little bit, and dogs process things by literally moving forward. So I keep it a short leash, though. Don't let him run in front of you, and try to get it to the point where it's like human, why did I forget your name? Parker. Should remember that. It's where I used to buy beer when I was underage. So human, Parker, human. And you might have to have the other human a little bit further away if he's lunging for him, but just walk and have the human ignore. Don't try to pet him or do anything. Have some of these treats. And then basically after a while when Parker kind of settles down, and I'm guessing it'll probably be 1 or 2 houses, have them turn over and offer him a treat, have him do a flat hand and off to their side. And then don't go all the way, go like this far, and see how the dog came the last little bit. That's what you want him to do, is come and lick it off the hand, and they should not try to pet him. And then walk a couple more steps and have him pull out another treat, do the same thing. Do that for like 4 or 5 treats. Then I kind of sat on the grass and I had him come up and gave him a couple of treats. I asked him to sit at this point before I gave him a treat. And then I was able to touch him a little bit. And then we walked back. By the time we got back inside, we've been buddies ever since. So if we start making every time, I think what he's doing is he's thinking he's protecting the house and the robber is coming inside. So if we just take that out and so he meets people outside, there's a lot of distractions. And there's that helps me not focus on him. Then I'm getting these treats, and we go for a little walk, and then we come inside over buddies. After a while, he just starts to associate new people or treat delivery people instead of infidels. Okay, so and I have other videos on this, and like I said, I want you guys to work on this for all the stuff that we're going to talk about in this video for a month. And if in a month he is still acting this way, let me know, and I'll come back and show you how to build on the focus exercise to help him have more positive association with people. I don't think we'll need that, but as long as everybody is practicing these things. Okay, if he nudges me like that and I pet him, I'm telling him, yes, you're the boss of me. So instead what I'm going to do is say, down. That's not what I wanted. So you might have to temporarily use a treat to lure him. But if he doesn't do it, I'm not going to say it multiple times. I say it once. The more you say it, the less you mean it. And so passive training and petting with a purpose will help with these things. He really doesn't have a down command. So it's, but if I pet him when he's nudging me, he's telling me what to do. So I'll just talk about it now. So this is what I call petting with a purpose. So if he nudges me, I would tell him to sit or lie down. Once he sits or lies down, I'm going to pet him under his chin, say the word sit or lie down, or whatever your command word is. Sit. That's passive training. We're talking about that in a sec. And then I would say just the command word, as in normal tone of voice, and pet him under his chin as much or as little as I want. At least one pet to an infinity number of pets. Okay. After a while, he'll start coming and sitting in front of you to prepay for that attention. When he does, make sure you reach over and pet him under the chin. Remember, petting on the chin facilitates that nose up, which is a proud dog body mechanic. So you can pet a dog anywhere you want, just avoid reaching over the head, because a 12-foot tall man sticking his head over my head, I'd kind of duck down, and they're practicing a cowering behavior. Sit. Petting with a purpose is just that the dog tells you what to do, or you want to pet the dog, you tell it to do something first, one time. If it doesn't do it in 3 seconds, then you show it, I got other things to do. You just missed out. And after a while, that will motivate the dog the next time to want to listen to you, because you're not going to say it multiple times, and you're going to show the dog that you have other things to do. Now, I have a watch with this, like say paycheck, if I suspect someone's petting without a purpose, and that helps the person remember they should stop petting. Say thank you, and tell her to sit first, pet on her chin, and then say thank you. Don't ever argue about it, because remember, a lot of times we pet without realizing that we're petting the wrong thing. Anything your dog is doing when you pet it is what you're reinforcing. Jumping up, you pet the dog, that's what you're reinforcing. A nervous dog, pet it, then you make it more nervous. A barking dog, more barking. Aggressive dog, nipping, all these things. You can lay your hand on the dog, and that's comforting for the dog. But as soon as you start petting it, you're going to reinforce whatever that behavior is. In this case, with petting with a purpose, we're reinforcing things we like. All right, so I also use passive training, and passive training is what I talked about and you saw me doing earlier. Passive training is waiting for the dog to organically offer you the behavior. So like, steal. So he's trying to steal. So I'm saying steal, I'm putting it in context. Probably don't want to train that. But every time your dog comes to you, pet it and say come. Every time it sits, pet it and say sit. Every time it eats, come up with a command word for eating. Every time it poops, say your command word for pooping. You're crafty. I'll put that right up there. So the idea is we're showing through our actions the things that we want. Remember, most of us train our dogs to misbehave because as soon as it starts barking, we yell at it. It chews our carpet, we yell at it. It chews the furniture, we yell at it. But it comes to us, we ignore it. Well, we're going to start showing these are the things we like because these are the best way to get my attention. Now, there's two, we're about to talk about rules. That's all right. So there's 2 parts of the equation. So part number 1 is, do I actually understand what's going on? And that's what we just got to talking about by petting in context and things along those lines. The second stage is, do I really feel motivated to listen to you? Do I respect you as a leader? I don't think that's the case in this house. And so basically what we're going to show the dogs is that we're the leader by enforcing rules consistently. Remember, rules are not mean. The person who enforces the rule is not mean. Rules are not negative. And breaking the rule is not a very good way to reward the dog. So some of the rules we talked about, not being allowed in the furniture. You can get those X mats, the letter X, M-A-T-S, and put those, we have this little ladder here, keeps 2 of the dogs off the furniture, but he can jump up. So we might have to put those X mats. They're about 11 or 13 bucks a piece. You have to get a couple of them, and you just fold it and put it under the chair when you're sitting there. When you get up to go to the bathroom, you unfold, take it out, put it on top. He runs over, oh, I can't get up there. So you might have to do a little something creative up here because I think he'll just get in the middle. But after, we don't want them to get a habit of getting up, because if they sit at the same height as us, they see us as peers. A lack of rules also indicates that we're peers. If I nudge you and tell you what to do and you do it, we're not peers, I'm in charge of you. So that's why petting with a purpose is so important. So for some of the rules we talked about, not being allowed in the furniture for at least 3 months or as long as the problem's still going on. Might have an argument about whether or not the dogs can be in the bed, but that's for the family to decide. Have to sit at the door before I let you in or out. I say sit once. If you don't sit, I walk away and I sit down nearby and I show the dog and wait 60 seconds. Ask Alexa for the timer. After 1 minute, go back and command them to sit again. If one of them, Oscar, sits and Oscar gets out, the other two, I close the door and they don't get to go out. We're paying based on performance. And I double length of time. First, I walk away for 1 minute and sit down. Then I walk away and sit down for 2 minutes. Then I walk away and sit down for 4 minutes and 8 minutes. And I keep double length of time until eventually, when I go to the door, the butt hits down. And as soon as the butt hits down, you fly that door open for that dog as soon as you can. And eventually do it both directions. Other rules: should not be allowed in the kitchen when we're eating. Should not be allowed in the around the dining room when we're preparing food. I forgot to show the guardians how to do that I'm going to show them off camera when we get done with this. If you forget how to do that, message me and I'm happy to share videos with you to show you how to do that. Let me see. Other rules: don't let the dog run up and down the stairs ahead of you. So if you're going to go downstairs, don't wait until you're going to go. 15 minutes before, get up and start walking down the stairs. As soon as they run in front of you, turn around and walk back upstairs, sit down. It might take a lot of repetition, but eventually the dog will learn. As soon as I run in front of the human, they stop and they lose interest. And eventually the dog will learn to stay behind you. If you're going through a door, they should go out the door after you. Let me see. Eating is another big one for rules. The humans need to eat something first, then the dog should eat after them. And I would feed the dogs one at a time. I have videos on my website called Structured Feeding, so you might want to watch one of those if you want to feed them individually like that. And I'm going to show you, like I said, how to keep them out of the kitchen. The same principle I'm going to show you is what you would use to keep them from eating each other's food or enforcing an invisible boundary. Anything else I'm forgetting? It's like I do this a lot or something. Well, this is Parker and Oscar, and man, I am horrible with names. Pepper, that's right. You should be the Pepper. You're the black and, well, you're not. You got a little bit of white.
This is Pepper Potts.
Oh, Pepper Potts from
She's a redhead.
All right, there you go. All right, Pepper, Oscar, and Parker, and this is the roadmap to success. Remember, everything you do trains your dog. Only sometimes you mean it.